Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hey creatives, this is Roland and welcome to the Writer's Creative Space, a space where you as an author or aspiring author can get inspiration, advice, tips, and encouragement on your self-publishing journey. This is episode 21, and to be honest, I did not think I would get this far with a podcast. I had a general idea of what I wanted to talk about, but I had no specific topics. And as I started the podcast, I remember I had actually about 3 to 4 ideas for the podcast that I would record, but that was it. There was nothing else. So in my head, I was like thinking, okay, I've got 3 to 4 ideas. After that, I don't know what the heck I'm going to be doing. Maybe I'll stop it after that, or maybe, I'll get stuck, whatever it is. But the thing is, like, I'm glad I took the dive and started the podcast anyway, because as I think about it, if I based my decision on starting this podcast on the 3 or 4 ideas that I had, then I would never have started it. And the truth is, as I stepped out and started doing it, that's when more ideas came in, and you actually started looking at things differently and seeing different things and getting inspired by different things and my experiences as a writer, and it all began, let me just say, to make sense, or I began to get more clarity on what I wanted to speak about, and it happens. I mean, like, as I write, I get ideas, or as I go through something, I have ideas, and this is something I did not see in the beginning, and that is why it's important to take your first step. And I'm really glad, like I said, that I took the dive and started doing it. And I know this is only the beginning, and there is so much more in store for me. And as you are listening to this, I want to encourage you to go after what you want to do. Yes, it will be difficult and challenging, and at times you might not have a clue of what you want to do or how you want to start it, but just take that first step and don't let anything or anyone stop you. Because like you heard, if I had took myself out of doing what I wanted to do, then this podcast would not exist, and actually writing my book wouldn't have happened. So just start, take that first step, because that's where it all matters. That first step is so critical in you beginning, in you starting, in you doing the things that you want to do. So with that, I think I will end on my news, and I want to just get straight into the main topic. So let's get into it. Now, there is a quote I read that resonated with me, which I love. And the quote says, "You cannot travel within and stand still without." I will say that again. You cannot travel within and stand still without. And I love this quote because it's talking about as you begin to envision something different for your life, as you begin to put up a new picture for life, you can't help but to start going towards what you see. And I talked about this whole topic in depth on my YouTube channel. And if you want to watch that, I will leave the link in the episode notes. But in here, I will talk specifically for writers because it is important to envision bigger things for your writing career. It is important to envision something different for your life, because as indie authors or aspiring authors, it's important to do this. The first reason I would say is that because no one else will. There's no one else who's going to come to you and dream for you and tell you the big things that you're supposed to do. And if anyone does that, and if there is someone that does that, then beware, because it could be too small for what you really want to do, right? I think the best person to envision something for your life is you, right? Is starting off with you. Don't rely on someone else to do the dreaming. Don't rely on someone else to do the world building for you. I mean, except of course, if you're a Christian, then God should be the one who's directing you and guiding you, right? But otherwise, as far as people, you be the one who is doing the world building, the envisioning. You can't wait for other people to come in and tell you what you're going to accomplish. You have to do that work on your own, especially if you are an indie author, because a traditionally published author has a inbuilt support system, right? He or she has a team, and they are helping them, and they need to make them succeed, and then so that means they're gonna back them up. They're gonna do everything that they can to put this person, he or she, in the best position to succeed, right? But as an indie author, like I said, it's radically different, and you are doing everything on your own. Or let me say that success falls squarely on your shoulders. If you don't have any goals or dreams for your writing journey, then success is not going to happen. You're the one who's thinking. You're the one who has to dream. You're the one who has to do. And yes, you'll have help, but I'm just saying you're the one who's leading that. You're the one who's directing that. If you stop, then no one else is going to take it up for you. And then the second reason why you need to envision something different for your life or to dream big is because the chance and opportunity to succeed is great. Now, I know that there are stats that back up the complete opposite, right? That's it. That most likely, the stats say that it's more likely to fail as an indie author, right? Because there's so many people doing it and it's hard to do. But on the other hand, as I see it, there are so many successful indie authors, and that could be you. Now, I think there are a lot of people who like to focus on the negative aspects of this whole thing, right? Why something won't work. They have 10 reasons you won't make it, and so on and so on. But then there is another reality, and the reality is of winning and succeeding. And there are people who are winning. There are people who are succeeding, and I believe it's a choice to work hard, a belief that you can do it, a belief that I'm not going to quit no matter what, and until I accomplish what I want to accomplish. Like, I'm not going to quit. I have a dream, I have a desire, I have a picture that I'm going towards, and I'm going to stick at it. So what reality do you want to live in? Are you going to listen to those negative voices and then just sit back and say, yes, okay, that's true, then I might not succeed, I might fail, or you're going to take a chance, right? And for me, I struggled big time with this when I first started my writing journey. It's so much better now, but back then, the only thing I envisioned, the only thing I was dreaming was of failure. As I wrote my book, I remember there was a titan clash happening in the background. The thoughts of failure and quitting were fighting hard against success. I couldn't envision myself succeeding and winning, and that hurt my confidence and progress big time. But with the help of other authors who I know and friends that I trust, they helped me to envision something different. They helped me change my mind. They helped me to see that I can succeed, that I can win. And I kept getting positive feedback about my writing and kept having people tell me to keep writing and not give up. So over time, the picture that I was holding, that negative picture, started to change, and I am in a much better place today. There is still, of course, a long way to go, but I am going the right way, which is the most important thing. And that's the most important thing for you, that even though there's a long way to go and there's so much to learn, the point is, we need to be going the right way. And the right way is believing that we can succeed, believing that we can win in spite of all the stats, all the negative stats, no matter how concrete they seem. We can't give into that. We have to try. We have to believe that we can do better. We have to hold up that picture of a better life, of success, of winning, right? So as I come to the end of this episode, my hope is that you see the importance of envisioning something better for your life, for your writing career, and that And I believe and I hope that you are challenged in this area, because the picture that you hold up to yourself and about your success is so important. So it's time to change the negative one for a positive one. The success you want is very possible, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So if you enjoyed this episode, share it with people that you know. And if you want to say hello, you can do so in the comment section, or you can head over to my Facebook page, or you can simply email me. There's so many ways to get in touch with me, because I would love to hear from you and where you are listening from and the insights that you got after listening to this podcast. And make sure to give this episode a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it. And I will see you next week. And remember, you have something worth sharing.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.